It's officially college football week 7 and it is October. Last week, the dogs were barking. Stay tuned to find out if we're going to pick some dogs this week on our college football week 7 best bets episode. Welcome, football fans, to another edition of DFSG Plus. We are the D-Gen Docs here, and we are talking college football week 7. College football, one of the greatest sports in the world. What is up, folks? I'm one of your hosts here, the D-Gen Doc, and more importantly, I am joined by my brother in degeneracy, Mr. Derek Bennett, a.k.a. Professor Locks. How we doing tonight, brother?
When Penn State just loses to an absolutely pitiful UCLA team, I'm feeling great, dude.
We have a lot to laugh about to kick off this show. But before we get to that, it is college football week 7. Big bets. Look, folks, if this is your first time joining us here at the D-Gen Docs, we appreciate you coming along. Cheers to you. This is how this show is going to go down. So we do our college football 6-pack. Yes, that is right. Not just your Blue Moon, your Heineken, whatever your beer is. We're talking our 6 best games as far as from a betting edge. Games that we feel we have the best value to give you some winners. At the end, we'll go through our 6 games, then we'll do our best bets. We'll do a lock, a money line dog, a parlay, and a teaser. All plays are assumed to be 1 unit, except for the lock, which is 2 units. But to kick off the show, we always like to do a couple takeaways from the week and adjust our power rankings and see how these teams stack up moving forward. Now,
what the hell's on your draft list? Heineken and Blue Moon?
You're right. Maybe not at the same time. I think currently in the beer fridge is Blue Moon and Dos Equis.
Okay.
But, yeah, something
showing my roots. I like it. Good for you.
All right. Look, you gotta have something light, and then something, a little bit harsher there for the soul. But
yeah.
You know what? It's all whiskey all the time, so that's all right. It's just beer's a chaser for the whiskey. So
that's right.
Look, you started jumping on it right away, so we'll get into it. We had an upset this weekend.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
Big upset. Penn State Nittany Lions somehow laughably ranked the number 17 in the country, went down to UCLA, and do not be fooled by the score. They dressed it up a bit. They were down by 20 going into halftime. Penn State becomes the first top 10 team to lose to an 0-4 or worse opponent in the last 40 years.
Yep.
What is your reaction to Penn State and James Franklin taking 2
historic
losses in a row?
Yeah, no, I was tuning into a couple other games at this point. I was mainly watching Bama and Vanderbilt, was switching back and forth between that and your Gators, taking on Texas, getting a big win at the Swamp. But then all of a sudden, I peeked at my phone and I'm like, what the fuck is going on out there in Pasadena? I mean, how in the world do you go out to Pasadena and lose to a UCLA Bruins team that, like you said, 0-4 and has looked absolutely like garbage, hot garbage.
Terrible.
Through the first 4 weeks.
Lost to New Mexico by 25 points in the Rose Bowl.
I mean, Nico Iamaleava was on my trending down list like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he hadn't looked any better since then.
No.
Until this past week, he looked great, and I absolutely loved every single second of it.
That was, like the Penn State fans, hey, we lost a tough game. We're fine. Drew Allar's still top 10. We're going to the college football playoff. Lock.
Well, and then James Franklin starts throwing out all this BS as far as like, well, we lost a tough one last weekend, and there was this big, there's this travel thing, and you have injuries. It's like,
no,
quit making excuses. You just got your ass beat by an 0-4 team that has looked like garbage.
They were like Oregon just last week went to Happy Valley, did the travel thing, right? Into a much more hostile environment. I mean, did you see that, like that field storm?
It was empty.
There was like 5 people and a 12-year-old. Like, it was
Well,
like
I mean,
little kids running around.
that's what you get when you send a bunch of nerds to a football game. They don't know what to do.
Well, yeah, that's
Um,
true. But,
but
I
I
mean,
mean,
wow.
holy smokes! I mean, it was great to watch.
Yes. As Pitt
Obviously,
fans,
the
hilarious.
coach bump after a firing is a thing. Did I expect that to happen? No way.
No. Now, final question here. Do you think James Franklin gets fired this season?
Ooh. I don't think he gets fired just because of the buyout. I mean, it's massive.
Okay.
Do I do I think that there's potential for him just to leave? I do.
Really?
I
That would
think,
be
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, this has been going on and on and on for, like, the last 4 or 5 seasons, like,
This
the
was
dude
supposed to be
can't
their
win.
year, man.
I know, and
Everyone
they've put a shit ton of money into that program. The guy can't win a big game, and now he can't win, like, the cupcake, on the schedule either, so, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it'll come down to, the Saturday after Thanksgiving in the shoe.
in
If they
Columbus, yeah.
lose at Ohio State, I think that he just kinda just goes away at the end of the
Wow.
season.
Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, at that point, the college football playoff hopes are
But,
likely done.
I mean, I'm okay with him staying because he can't win the big game, and every time Ohio State walks into a stadium, it's a big game, so
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Hey, enough of Penn State there. So there's plenty to laugh about. So hopefully
yep.
you enjoyed that as well, as long as you're not a Nittany Lion fan. Coming off last week, week 6, fairly middling, 3-3, 2-4, but we hit some big dogs, and those
We did.
big dogs made it a profitable week still. Virginia on the money line at plus
That
240,
was a nice one.
and my Florida Gators at plus 215.
Yep.
Hopefully you tailed those, some big dogs. And man, we both wanted Vanderbilt, and that cover was a bit of a bad beat there at the
Oh,
end,
yeah, that
especially
sucked.
if you got the 12 and a half late. But hey, we are on to better and bigger things. Hopefully hitting some more big dogs this week.
That's right.
Now, overall week 6 takeaways, my friend. What are some things that we can take away moving forward from last week?
Um, I mean, the AP poll is just a joke. I mean,
Oh, oh
every single week we
my, oh
have
my goodness.
teams going down that's like we didn't think that they were supposed to be ranked this high to begin with, and
Yes.
I mean Penn State, yes, they had one loss, tough home loss still to a good Oregon team, but still to be ranked 7th and
They didn't
get your
beat
ass,
anybody.
they
They
haven't beaten
played the
anybody.
school of the death and the blind for 3 weeks in a row. That
Yeah,
like the preseason AP poll based off of what? Especially the transfer portal.
yeah,
This is basically new teams you're talking about. What are you
right.
basing this off of?
Right. And
And
then
go ahead.
basically, it's not even so much like last week's rankings, it's what happened after the games were played last weekend. Like,
Oh
I don't
yes.
know how Penn
Let's get to
State
it.
is still in the top 25 after an awful loss. You're
Well, they're not.
coming
So
off,
they're not. So Penn State and Texas, they were
yes, you're right. You're right. They're not
but
in the
they
AP. They're in the coaches poll. You're right.
right. But look at how many votes they received. Both of
Yeah.
these teams,
Yeah.
Texas and Penn State, have beaten nobody.
Yep.
Texas lost to my Gators, they lost to your Buckeyes, and they played 3 school of the deaf and the blind, right? And
Yep.
look, not to man, I need to get a different face for that because nothing wrong with being deaf and blind, but just a phrase that I grew up saying it's hard to get away from.
Yep.
But they played 3 nobody school, 3 cupcakes. Same with Penn State.
Yep.
Why in the world are they receiving votes after, especially, I mean, Penn State after an awful loss?
And to a certain extent, Florida State. I mean, yeah, you have your in-state rival coming in and basically kick their ass for 3.5 quarters.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, we'll
you
get
know,
we'll get to Florida State. Don't you
and
worry about that.
they're still cracking the top 25 there. So
Yes, we
after
will.
losing to a Virginia team that is looking better, but at the time it was like, okay, it's still Virginia.
At least Florida State beat Bama. Other than that, they've played 2
True.
nobodies, but not top 25. 2 teams, no, you cannot. I'm sorry, that's not it either. But let's get to something positive. Weekday football is back, and weekday football rocks. We've got
Right.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday college football.
Yep.
And I think Maction comes back, if not next week, the week after, where we will
Right.
also get Tuesday.
Get
So
some
uh,
Tuesday games.
get excited, get ready. Look, I think we have an awesome slate. I could not talk Derek into expanding the
Pretty good
six
one.
pack. Sometimes
Pretty good.
I'll edge them on. We can talk about more games, but we're just doing our traditional 6. We will talk 1 Friday and 5 Saturday games. Let's get to our power ranking adjustments.
Yeah.
What teams made enough of an impact this week, whether they're going up or they're going down. We'll start with the positive as we always do, and I will let you lead off, my friend. What are your 3 teams who are trending up in your power rankings?
Yeah, I mean, after Bama took care of Vanderbilt, I mean,
They did.
yes, it was a close game late, but they pretty much dominated most of that game. I mean,
They look like
Vanderbilt
a better team.
really struggled to get much going offensively, and they looked not like necessary. I wouldn't say that the Alabama of old, where they were winning national championships year after year, or at least every other year, but they're starting to look like the top 10 Bama team again.
Yeah.
Texas Tech keeps on rolling with another pretty good win down there in Houston. So I continue to bump them up higher and higher. I would say that they're a top 10 team at this point. And then Texas A&M. Taken out Mississippi State, who just the week prior lost in a really close game to Tennessee. And we know how Tennessee barely lost to Georgia. So I would say all 3 of those SEC teams are pretty comparable at this rate. And A&M just absolutely stomped them in the second half. It was a close game early, but they really put it to the dogs late. So Texas A&M's climbing my ladder.
Yeah, no, I've got a very very similar trending up team, so I've not a lot to disagree with. Really, just kind of add on
Yeah,
Bama. Yeah, ever since losing to Florida State, they've really turned it on. They've looked very put together. That is a team. The game where last season that Bama team, I don't know if they win that Vanderbilt game. They took a punch in the mouth. Vanderbilt
yeah,
went up 7-0 and then 14-7. And then that defense came alive a little bit. We were on Vanderbilt because of that rush defense, and it looked a bit better. They got key turnovers, and Ty
they did.
Simpson looks really, really good.
You look really good.
Texas Tech, we were just talking before the show, a little pre production. I want to see them play more football, but right now they look awesome. To win
Yeah,
at Utah is huge. Then to win at Houston, look, Houston. I don't think either of us think they're world beaters, but they were
no,
4-0. They was on the road, and honestly, that game like 35-11, it could have been way worse. It could
yeah,
have been a lot worse. So
definitely.
to really like Texas Tech and then Miami, as much as I don't like them personally, you have to give them their flowers. They like
Mhm.
another one where the score dressed it up. FSU dressed it up a little bit. They
Yeah,
dominated them for 3.5 quarters. Of course, Mario Cristobal went into his conservative hole at the end. I almost got the back door. You correctly got that and
yep,
deserved to. Miami was the right side all the time, all the way. But the trenches of this team, one of the best, if not the best, in college
pretty solid.
football.
Yeah,
I think that is the biggest thing. When you let Carson, if you let Carson Black have time and he doesn't have to worry about his happy feet, he is
yep,
a very good quarterback. And that
yep.
freshman Malachi Tony looks like an absolute electric stud. Reminds me of Kadarius Tony. Hopefully, he has a little bit better of a route going forward. But man, as much as I hate to say it, Miami looks to me like the best team in the country. So I'm gonna move them up.
Well,
You
and
already kind of had them pretty damn high, I would imagine.
yeah. No, I think they're probably the top 3 team in the country right now, and we've talked about this a little bit off air, but right now for us, I would say easy top 3, and then it's a lot of let's see.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State's continued to dominate.
Yep.
Oregon's continued to dominate, and
Yep.
Miami probably has the best resume in all of college football right now.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
after that, it's the mud starts to creep in a little bit there. It's like is that
You
we
got a
have
couple
some
more
teams that
questions,
with some
right?
questions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
there's a
but
couple, A&M, Texas Tech, a
yeah,
couple of Indiana potentially,
right.
Oklahoma. Like, there's a couple teams that look good right now, but we got to see a little bit more, right?
Right. Well, and
You
going
can
back
throw
to your
Alabama
Texas
in
Tech
there.
thing, as far as wanting to see more of them, like their records starting to look a little bit better. They have a couple current top 25 teams on their schedule as in terms of Arizona State and BYU.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's a team that I think easily could win the Big 12, and could make some noise
Yeah.
come college
They
football
have
playoff.
a very clear path to the playoff at this
Yeah,
point. Still got a lot of games left to play, so we'll
We
see.
do.
All right, let's go the other way here. What were teams that disappointed you to the point that you are moving them down in your power rankings?
Yeah, this week was pretty easy to pick 3 teams, and it wasn't really, nobody else stuck out. Penn State,
Yeah.
obviously. Huge, massive loss. Texas, I mean, don't get me wrong, your Gators looked better, but
Texas
Texas,
looked like shit. Yeah.
yeah, Texas hurt himself a lot. And then
Yep.
Iowa State, I mean, this one was, I was on Cincy
You were?
last week,
Yep.
but Iowa State just did not look very good.
Mm-mm.
Rocco Becht didn't look like a veteran quarterback that he is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to slide them down a little bit, but not nearly as far as the top 2 there.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much lockstep with you there, which it's nice to see us agreeing at this point.
Yeah,
But yeah, like we talked about Penn State and Texas enough. I think we can be the dead horse because it's hilarious, but neither of those teams have beat a quality Power Four opponent. This
they
I,
have.
have, I haven't beat a Power Four opponent at all. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean you laughable that they're still receiving votes, and neither of them I think are good. And Iowa State, yeah, that I thought it was a dangerous environment since he's playing well. So I'm not going to crush them, but watching that game as much as hey, since he came out and punched him in the mouth, they on
yep,
defense, their defense is what really concerned me. They were getting ran all over. Brendan Sorsby did whatever he wanted. And then they had multiple opportunities to make that really a game and come back. I know it was only an 8-point game, but yeah, Rocco Beck not taking advantage of those opportunities really. I thought they really should have won that game despite it being a tough environment because I do think they were. I had them as one of the top 15 teams in the country. Now, might be closer to top 25, top 30. So we're going to
yep,
see more of them. They play at Colorado, another road spot here, a big spot for them. So we'll see. But
yep.
yeah, Penn State and Texas definitely the losers of the week. All right, brother. Let's get into out of the rear view. Moving forward, we're gonna make some money here. College football
Love it.
week 7, big bets. Man, I am jacked for this slate. We had an incredible slate 2 weeks ago. Last week, okay, and I think this one is really, really good. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about it. We're gonna kick off our game Friday night, October 10th, 9 p.m. Eastern time. A little late night football on the West Coast. We've got the 3-2 Rutgers Scarlet Knights taking on the 4-1 Washington Huskies. There we have Rutgers catching 10.5 points on the road. Money line sitting at plus 320. Meanwhile, Washington obviously laying 10.5, minus 425 on the money line. Over
yep.
under sitting at 59.5. This is being played at Husky Stadium there in Seattle, Washington. Weather should not be a concern. 59 and sunny. All right, my friend, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, give me Rutgers on the road. I think this Rutgers team is kind of sneaky good on offense. I mean, they've
Yeah.
had a couple of losses the past couple weeks. I guess um, they were on bye this past week, and that's another reason why I like them
Yeah.
going out to Washington. But I mean, their only 2 losses are to Iowa, which was a 10-point loss, and then a 3-point loss to Minnesota on the road. I mean, Rutgers historically has been one of those rough and tough teams that defensively is pretty stout, but then
Yeah.
their offense is pretty sluggish. That hasn't been the case
No.
this season. Kalakamak, however you say that guy's name,
Alan
has looked
McManus or something.
that has looked pretty good overall, and Raymond at tailback looks pretty good too. So I liked Damon Williams when I watched the Washington OSU game,
Yeah.
but it was him and I don't know who else. So I think Rutgers will keep it close. I do think that the Huskies end up winning out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, I will agree with you, and I will take our friend Ethan Kaliak Manis. I believe. Who knows?
That one.
But I do think that Rutgers is a good buy low spot, and I think Washington's a bit of a good sell high. Now, Washington was a team that I know I liked coming in. I have over seven
Yeah,
and a half on their win total. I thought they were a
yeah,
team that could be a dark horse college football playoff team. Desmond Williams, Jonah Coleman, that offense was supposed to, Boston, the wide receiver. They showed some flashes last year.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, I know they're beat up on the defensive backfield, which is supposed to be one of their strengths. But
Yep.
man, between the last 2 weeks, I have not been impressed with them at all. Now I get it. Ohio State is a good team. That's not a bad loss, but that game was never really in question. You
No.
scored 24-6. I mean, at your own place.
Yeah.
And that you have Julian Sayin making his first road start. That's a good opportunity to try to get a big dog. You had a packed stadium, and you kind of laid an egg. And then the
Yep.
next week you go out to Maryland and you're down 20-0 late in the third quarter. I was kind of paying attention to that game, and then I just kind of was like, well, all right, I guess Washington's going to take an L, and then Derek's going to cash his Maryland over here.
Yeah.
And
Sadly, got to wait a week.
yeah, wait a week, but you'll be good there. You only need one for the rest of the season. But look, I know, right? I don't know how good this Washington team is. When we talk about the
Yeah.
teams that they've won, all right, yes, they went to Maryland and won. I get it. That's good to come out with a win. But a 4-point victory at Maryland, that's not impressing me. And it really took a miracle to get it there. It took a Maryland collapse. Other than
Right.
that, you've beaten Colorado State, UC Davis, and Washington State. Three teams
Mm-hmm.
that are terrible, among the bottom of the FBS. So, yeah, it's great you ran it up on them, but I think this Rutgers team, like you said, both teams putting up scoring on average 39 points per game. This is not a Rutgers team that is that typical Greg Schiano. We're gonna score 10 points and hope we can hold you under. They can put up
Right.
some points, so I think the 10.5 is way too big of a number here.
Yep.
I get and then you talked about it. Look, it's a tough spot to go all the way there. It's a lot of travel miles. However, they are coming off a bye week, so it makes it a
Right.
little bit easier to plan and figure those things
Yep.
out and prepare.
And personally, I always think that going to the left coast and having that night game
Yeah,
is easier than coming from the left coast and playing at noon. At that point, you're playing
true.
at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning for those kids. Where going to the west side, we're still kicking off at 9 o'clock, and that's not that much later than a 7:30 or 8 o'clock kick. So you should be
Yeah,
able to prep for that a little easier.
yeah, yeah. No, I think so as well. And yeah, the bye week, and yeah, I just don't.
Yeah,
I want Washington to be good, but I
yeah,
don't know if they're a good team yet. So I don't think they're good. They're at the level of laying 10.5 against a solid Rutgers team. Okay, we're moving over to the Saturday slate, talking about game number 2, and we've got a big one here, a top 15 matchup in the SEC. We've got the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide at 4-1, heading over to Columbia, Missouri at Memorial Stadium to take on the 5-0 Mizzou Tigers here.
yep.
It's 69 and
Comes that
sunny.
SEC bias. That
Yeah,
SEC
I mean,
bias.
hey, look, they're 5-0, but who have they beaten? We'll see. So where are
Yeah.
you going in this one? Alabama is laying 3 on the road, -155 on the money line. Over under sitting at 51.5. Missouri +130 home dogs. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, I think I haven't been able to watch as much of Mizzou the last couple of weeks. They ran it up on UMass.
Sure.
Good for you. And then you beat South Carolina 29-20 when knock Lenore Sellers out for the second part of that game. So
That was
I think that's
he was coming off the injury there.
yeah.
That
See
was
what
the
you're
big
right. You're right.
one.
He's
So
coming off the injury in that one.
he was playing, but was he 100%?
Exactly. But that's probably the best win on their resume to this point. I mean, I watched a little bit of that Kansas Missouri game a month or so back. Kansas should have won that game, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yep.
And I think Alabama has started to turn the corner here. They're starting to look really, really good over the last couple of weeks. So give me the Crimson Tide laying the, what is it, 3.5?
3, just 3. It's been
Three?
bet
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
People are betting Missouri.
I'll take the hook.
Yeah, look, you've mentioned I haven't watched a lot of Mizzou recently, and why the hell would you? They were on
Yeah,
bye last week, and they played UMass, a middling South Carolina team, Louisiana, Kansas, and Central Arkansas, and they've all been at home. I don't know
yeah,
who the hell gave them this schedule, like they're some big
yeah,
dog, but they don't go on the road for like I mean it's late in October when they go on the road for the first time. So
yeah.
I don't think this team is that proven.
No.
Meanwhile, you have Alabama on the other side where, yes, Alabama went to FSU and lost, but obviously they learned from it. I mean, coming out of the FSU loss, 73-0 against ULM. Okay, who cares?
Right.
38-14 against Wisconsin. All right, at least an FBS school. And then 24-21 between the hedges at Georgia in a revenge game that Georgia wanted desperately. And then they handled Vanderbilt at home 30-14.
Yep.
I mean, clearly that loss woke them up. They were already one of the most talented teams in the nation. And
Definitely.
this Missouri team, yes, let's go back to that Kansas game because I think Kansas is probably the best team. I think South Carolina is pretty terrible this year. They've gotten blown out by Vanderbilt, and I don't think they've looked very good. They've beaten pretty
Yeah.
crap this year. But going back to that Kansas game, they were down 21-6. And okay, even if let's say they win that game, if we go back, I think Kansas was catching 6.5. That was one of the brutal beats where Missouri broke off a long run in the last minute of the game to get a
Yep.
meaningless cover, essentially. So they dressed that one up a bit. I think
No doubt.
Mizzou is kind of always in that spot where they win a lot of games, but they kind of, for whatever reason, they get a lot of really great schedules, and they gotta get a lot of inflated records there. So I do not think they are the number 14th best team in the country. This is their big test, so we'll see if
Yep.
they prove us wrong here. But I think Bama's much more battle tested.
Yep.
Again, I
And
think
and and getting Jam Miller back a week or two ago, I mean,
huge,
that running game has looked so different since he's been
huge.
back.
It is a great point because yeah, I definitely noticed that as well. He was not out there for the first couple of weeks, notably against FSU. Running game
Right.
struggled, and once he's been
Yep.
back, he is one of the best running backs in the National
He's
Football or the NCAA. Excuse me, NFL brain right now. I gotta flip the switch because I'm talking about Ty Simpson, man, and the kid looks good. So
he looks
I,
really
I
good.
think he's definitely an NFL prospect. All right,
Yeah.
we're moving on. We're sticking with the 12 p.m. Eastern time slate. And we're talking about our 3-2 Pitt Panthers heading to Tallahassee, Florida, to take on the apparently number 25 team in the country,
Yep.
3-2 Florida State Seminoles here. Look, Pitt is catching a huge 10.5. They are plus 310 on the money line. Over under sitting at 56.5. FSU minus 410 at home there in Doak Campbell Stadium. It is going to be a beautiful 75 and sunny in this game. Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, who's Pitt's new starting quarterback? How you say that
The
name?
freshman Mason Henschel. Henschel.
Henschel. Okay, thank you. I I mm, I, I can't
Don't
do
do
it.
it.
I
Oh
can't.
no.
I can't do
Oh
it, dude.
well. Okay.
I
All right.
can't
Let's
do it.
hear it.
No, I think I have to take Florida State in this one. I mean, you lose a game against your rival, yes, and I don't usually take teams coming off of rivalry games, but Henschel at Doe Campbell making his first road start, it scares me, dude. And Pitt finds ways to lose, and when they
Yeah.
do, they look bad. Now I fully understand that Pitt's defense is the heart and soul to their team. They have one of the best rush defenses in the country. And
Right.
I just trust Castellanos more so than a rookie making his first road start.
Look, I'm glad you brought up that point. I think you're on the wrong side, and I'm going to tell you my side here. But yes, I think the way this loses is the way Pitt has lost. And my cat is making. We're talking about dogs, Nova, not cats. All right. Look, Henschel, the freshman, making his first road start, definitely a thing. If he looks like a freshman, if he basically looks like Eli Holstein and turns the ball over, that's
Yeah.
where this can go awry. However, FSU is a team built of mercenaries. We saw it last year. When the going got tough, they all quit and went 2-10. Now, Thomas Castellanos, he's on his fourth team or third team in 4 years,
Third
I
one.
believe.
Yeah.
I don't think he is the best leader. I think that right now you had a dream crushing loss to Virginia, and Miami, for as much as they dressed that up, dominated them. They whooped their ass for 3.5 quarters. Now they got to come back and somehow rally the troops against the Pitt team that I think matches up very well against this team. You talked about it. My FSU is the number 2 rush offense in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Heavily rely. Guess Malzone has that offense. When they're rolling, they're rolling. However, If you stop the run game and you force Thomas Castellanos to be a pocket passer and throw the ball, last 2 games he's had over 30 pass attempts, 2 interceptions in each of them. I think that Pitt has a very opportunistic defense. They are the number 1 rush defense in yards per carry in the college football. And I think that getting rid of Eli Holstein, who, if you look at the 2 games they lost, that terrible backyard brawl loss, Eli Holstein just missed dudes or just turned the ball over. I
Yep.
mean, he was just not the guy at all. And
100%.
then that Louisville game, you're up 17-0. You're up 10 at half to score 0 points in half and have 5 turnovers in that game. I
Yep.
think that the freshman, he looked good. Granted, Boston College, I'm going to pump the brakes there. But I think another thing, Desmond Reed, all-star running back for the Pitt Panthers, he
He's a
was
stud.
on the sideline, warmed up last week. I think they purposely held him out of that game to get ready for this one, a much bigger spot
Yep.
here on the road. So give me the Pitt Panthers catching the ridiculous number to me in 10.5. First disagreements, though. You're going
Yeah.
State. You're going
Yeah.
look, early in the season. Betting against freshman quarterbacks on the road was a death sentence. So I
It's true.
understand where you're going from, but when Pitt wins this game, we're going to go back to this, and then I'm not going to let you forget it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think that, historically, we've been watching the Panthers for some time now. And yes, they do tend to pull off some upsets and do tend to take down some of these blue blood programs from time to time. Most of the time, that's in Acrisure Stadium. This one's in Doak Camp, and I think that Florida State's gonna want to bounce back a little bit here after a couple heartbreaking losses, and
We'll see
and
how if
sadly,
they
sadly put it to our Pittsburgh Panthers.
we'll see if they fill that stadium. I think there's a book sale going on, so we'll see if they can fill it after those 2
I hope you're right. I hope
losses.
you're right for my fandom's point, but
Right.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
hedge hedge my fandom and put a little bit of money on the other side.
I try to do it. Can't talk you out of it. Good man. All right, here we go. Game number 4. We're heading over to the 3:30 Eastern Time slate to one of the best rivalries in all of college football. It
Oh
is
yeah.
the Red River Shootout, not the All-State Red River rivalry. That is a
Mm-hmm.
shame that they're trying to change these names of rivalries that have been going on for hundreds of years. There's no reason to change history just to, appease, I guess, what, the PC police or something like that.
Something
But,
like
you
that.
know, Anyway, so look, we've got the number 6 team in the country, the 5-0 surprise Oklahoma Sooners
That's right.
against the unranked 3-2 Texas Longhorns. Now, this game is not really it's in Texas, but it's not at Texas. It
Right.
is in the Cotton Bowl. It is going to be 86 and sunny, hot one there in Dallas, Texas. You got the Sooners as a small dog. This number has been bet down. I think it opened around 3.5. Now it is they are only plus 114 on the money line, and they are catching 1.5 points, while
Yep.
Texas is laying 1.5, and they are minus 135 on the money line. Look, this is a very intriguing game between two teams seemingly in the opposite direction. However, let's talk about something very quickly because it's going to be, kind of the going to make or break this handicap here.
Yeah.
That is the health of quarterback John Mateer there. Guy looks like an absolute stud.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the clear Heisman favorites. And we
Sean
got it.
Mateer.
He broke his hand a couple weeks ago, and originally they said it was going to be a month until that he was ready. Now today, Pete Thamel, one of the guys. Let's pull this up here. All right.
ESPN analyst.
Yes, ESPN analyst Pete Thamel said Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer is pushing to return this week for the game against Texas. There's belief that his return is possible, and he's reacted well to surgery. Now, here's my tweet kind of outlaying. He had surgery just 2 weeks ago tomorrow, the 24th of September. They originally said it was going to be a month or about 4 weeks. If he plays on Sunday, it will only be 17 days or 2.5 weeks since the surgery.
Yep.
What say you? Because from the medical side of this, I have an opinion, and I'm very curious on yours.
Yep. I have a medical opinion too. That would be dumb.
I mean,
I I think it's possible that he suits up and goes. I don't think it's likely that he suits up and goes. He might be, tossing the ball around in pregame or something, I don't think they throw him out there.
Right. Look, all I'm going to say is we don't have the X-ray. We don't have the
No.
surgical report. Right. We are
Right.
not taking the patient. So I'm
Yep.
not going to sit here and try to act all high and mighty. However,
Yep.
what I do hope is that someone is in his corner thinking about his long-term future here,
Yes.
because this is a
100%.
broken bone in his throwing hand.
Right.
Bones need one thing to heal: time. And there's
Yep.
not a whole lot you can do to speed up that process. Now,
No, you can't.
obviously, if you don't have a good surgery and it goes bad, yes, you can delay that process, but there's
Right.
not some type of super serum you're going to do to make the bones heal faster.
Yep.
They need time. And
We
if
can't
this
put it in a vibrating glove. We can't shock it back to life. Like,
right,
there's no way to speed up healing bones and whatever kind of hardware that they may have, you know, put in there to fuse
exactly.
things back together.
So can he play? I guess, but like he's the grip strength's going to be a question.
100%.
And I just talked to my buddy who's very inside the Oklahoma Sooners. He knows everything about him. And he texted me, and I kind of asked him his opinion because I was like, dude, I don't like the sound of this for his long term health. He said that they are, I think it's a lot of mind games, basically. They had him dressed in pads and on the sideline in Kent State, so they didn't have to put him on the injury report. And basically, they moved their practices indoors for this week, so they don't have no idea who's taking snaps at quarterback.
Yep.
But on the coaches show that Venables does, he said Mateer hasn't taken any best on best snaps since the injury, and if you don't take best first best snaps at practice, you do not start.
Yep.
So
Well, shout out to
probably
Kalicki because I almost texted him too.
there you go. Yeah. So shout out to Clicky for giving us that information there, because I was not going to dive that deep into this business. But I'm going to say that it's more smoke screen. Now, obviously, there
Yes.
is a chance that he does play, but I almost think that would be worse.
Yep.
So what say you in this one? Obviously, a huge, huge game. I'm sure he wants to be out there like any player would.
Sure.
But where are you going on this one?
Yeah, I don't know if it matters if he plays or not because that Texas
Oh,
offense looks like ass. And Oklahoma's
yeah,
defense is pretty damn good. I mean, they're
really
only
good.
giving up like 7.5 points a game.
Yep.
I think in general, like Michael Hawkins didn't look great this past week.
Oh,
Um,
he looked good this week against Kent State.
well, yes. But I think it's one of those things where um, Texas's offense has looked like ass basically the entire year. Anytime they play a comparable opponent, and they've
Right.
only played two of those: Ohio
Yep.
State and Florida. They lost
Yep.
both of those.
Correct.
Uh, Texas defense didn't look great this past week against your Gators. They looked okay, but I think that Florida ran it down their throat at times. And I think that in the past, whatever you want to call this Red River rivalry, Red River Shootout game, is when Oklahoma quarterbacks kind of jump on the screen, whether that's Caleb Williams or Dylan Gabriel. They kind of just end up popping
Yeah.
in this big matchup. So give me the Sooners in this one.
Yeah. There you go.
Land 1.5, I think it is, right? Two
Catching.
and a half.
Catching.
Oh yes, two.
Catching
Yeah,
one and
yes,
a half,
catching
two and
2.5.
a half. It's kind of jumping all over, so
Yeah,
that's where you get it. But you are on
yeah,
Oklahoma. I agree with a lot of what you said. However, my favorite play, I said this before. I mean, as soon as I found out Mateer was injured,
you're
basically,
going the under, aren't you?
I'm taking the under. As soon
Yeah,
as this number open, I don't care if it's
yeah,
42
I
and
like
a
that
half.
too.
I think that, Michael Hawkins is a guy who is a much more capable runner than passer of the
Yep,
ball.
yep,
Last year, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He does some good work on the ground, but I think Texas knows that. And I do think
yep,
Texas, when we were talking about two of the better defenses in college football, Oklahoma, I think, has been really proven, giving up less than 200 yards and 7.2 yards per game. They're giving up the least amount of yards in college football and the second least amount of points behind your Buckeyes there. And then Texas, and it's a top 5-10 defense. They're giving up only 260 yards and 12 points per game. Now
yep.
you could argue, who do they play? I mean, they only gave up 14 to Ohio State, and obviously they held a lot of other teams. So And then Arch Manning away from
Well, those other teams are UTEP, San Jose State, and Sam Houston.
Yeah, nothing. No, this is not me saying Texas is a good team. Arch Manning away from home gives me. I don't want to bet on that. So really,
Yeah.
it's kind of a situation where I don't like either quarterback. I
Yeah.
like both defenses, and I think that this is an ugly rivalry game. There's probably
Yep.
going to be must-watch TV. There's going to be crazy shit that happens,
Yep.
turnovers, trick plays. I am so excited to watch this game. And although
Yep.
I don't think it'll be the typical shootout that we're used to seeing between these two former Big 12 teams, I think they're going to take their their new SEC caliber and play some defense. And I'm excited to see this one. Give me an old school Georgia Alabama rivalry. Give me like a 9-6 here. I'd love that. I would love that. Now, I'm sure it won't be that low, but I do think it goes under 42.5.
Little 17-14 game. I like it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, defense is exciting to watch too. If you don't like to watch defense, go watch flag
20
football.
to 21.
Yeah.
Cash
Yeah.
your way.
Take it there. Hey, man.
That's right.
And yeah, I do not think Texas is a good team. And I think Oklahoma's really good if Mateer plays, but I
Yeah.
just don't think he's going to play. And that's the ultimately why I'm going.
And honestly, even if he does play, he's not going to be 100%.
No.
Like you said, the grip strength is not going to be there, which, I mean, to throw the ball downfield, you have to have a pretty good grip on the ball.
To hold on
And
to the
obviously
ball.
you're risking fumbling and
Yeah.
bad handoffs and things like that too. So
Yeah, for his sake, I'm hoping that they do the right thing for his
right.
future. But who knows? Maybe that is to play. So we'll see. All right, we are heading on to the night slate, and then we're gonna do our best bets and get on out of here. We are heading to the Big Ten. Big
Ooh.
10, Big 18, whatever you want to
Couple
call it.
Big Ten teams here.
Yeah,
Or
finishing with the
games
Big
here.
Ten here. Saturday, October 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the 3-2 Iowa Hawkeyes at the 2-3 Wisconsin Badgers there. 64 and sunny in beautiful Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, where they will be jumping around despite their team looking like ass. Where are you going in this one?
This one was a tough one. Because on one side of the things, I really like the environment of Camp Randall.
Yeah.
I just
One
think
of the
their
best
team is
parts.
ass. I mean, Iowa hasn't looked great on offense as per usual. I thought that they would get a little bit more of a boost from Gronowski than they have.
Yeah.
Um, but in general, I just trust Kirk Ferentz and the way that he plays
Oh, yeah.
more so than I can Wisconsin at this point. I mean, O'Neal, their starting quarterback, I don't know if he's starting or not because he turns the ball over like every other drive, it seems like.
Yeah, they
And even the running game hasn't really gotten going to this point, which Wisconsin, you expect a pretty strong running game. I
Yep.
know they changed up their offense for this season because the spread kind of stuff that
Fickle brought over there.
Fickle, thank you. Fickle brought over wasn't working, but yeah, I think this Wisconsin team is just kind of spinning its wheels at this point, and I think that Iowa um, ends up covering that 3.5 point spread.
Yeah, I love Iowa here. I absolutely love Iowa. This is a situation where I thought that the only thing that kind of kept me hesitant in this one was what was the quarterback situation for Iowa
Yeah,
because Mark Ranowski he went out
yeah,
against Indiana 2 weeks ago, which I
right.
think if he stays in that game, they have a very good shot to win.
Yeah,
All they really needed was, a first down to make that go for them. As far
yep,
as they got the turnover, they had great field position. It was a tie game. All they really needed was a couple first downs to make that field goal more reasonable. But
yep.
he practiced today, and also he was named a captain for this week. So for me,
Okay,
he was medically cleared per Kirk Ferentz. He practiced as normal today on Tuesday, and he was named a captain. To me, it says he's probably going to play.
I
And
mean,
if
right.
he's
Yeah,
going to play, I think Iowa is going to blow the brakes off of this Wisconsin team.
yep,
Now, a lot of things, when we talk about this is a rivalry game. Wisconsin got embarrassed at Kinnick Stadium last year, and they were doing 42 push-ups at the end of practice, and making this personal and yada yada yada. That is great, but the teams you have played with a pulse this season, you've lost 38-14 to Alabama, 27-10 to Maryland at your place. and
At
then
home.
24-10 to Michigan, where they took a field goal at the last minute, essentially, I just think, to cover a bullshit spread because
Yep.
it was a minute left and they kicked it on 4th and goal. So why are you doing that?
Right.
Like that they're not playing competent play. And if you don't have one quarterback, you have no quarterbacks. I don't know if it's going to be Billy Edwards or the Simmons kid or Danny O'Neal. And honestly, I don't think it matters. Iowa,
No.
the only teams they've lost to have been to a really good Iowa State team by 3, and then a really good Indiana team who I thought, again, if Gronowski doesn't get injured, they have a really good shot of winning that game. So I think that they're coming off a bye, a little pissed off. They have 2 losses, and they're going to go beat the tar out of the Wisconsin Badgers. So we are both laying it. Give us the -3.5 with the Iowa Hawkeyes at Camp Randall. And finally, game number 6, we've got the 4-1, number 15 team ranked team in the country. The Michigan Wolverines heading to LA to take on those Southern California. Wow. With last game here.
USC, Southern Cal.
Southern Cal, USC there, the Trojans, fighting Trojans there. This game is at the LA Memorial Coliseum
Yep.
in Los Angeles, California. 74 and sunny, no concerns on the weather there.
Nope.
Michigan catching 2.5 as small road dogs, +114 on the money line. Over under sitting at 57.5, and USC is laying 2.5, -135 as home favorites here. Final game. I have a feeling you won't be backing the team up north, but where are you going in this one?
How'd you guess that one? No, I'm going with USC. This USC team should be undefeated at this point.
Okay.
And part of this is the West Coast thing. Anytime teams have to travel out west or
Yeah.
across time zones, there's an effect, and I think in general I see these teams fairly close together. One of these teams is at home. It's USC, so I'm going to be uh, taking the Trojans in this one. Lay the
I
2.5.
appre- I appreciate your simplistic handicap there because sometimes we read too much into it, and that's all it is. However, I'm going to push back. Give me Michigan Wolverines. What are 2 things that travel historically, whether it's in the NFL and college football? What are 2 things that travel?
Helmets. I don't know.
Get the hell out of here. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The running
Defense and
game
a running
and
game.
defense, right?
Okay.
That's where I think Michigan has its edge. I think that Michigan is going to run all over this USC team. Look, they only loss for Michigan is from a good Oklahoma team who had Mateer playing quarterback. USC, I think they're a soft team. They have no impressive wins, in my opinion, and they lost. Yes, at Illinois is no cakewalk. However, you say they should have won. They gave up 500 yards of offense to a Brett Bielema team and
And
5
they
yards.
needed all 500 of those because they lost on a walk-off field goal.
All I'm saying is I think that Michigan is going to run down this team's throat. I understand how, Bryce Underwood, freshman quarterback on the road, you have that situation. He's a little more battle tested. He's played at Nebraska there. Then he played at Oklahoma. So, I think that's 2 pretty dangerous road
And when
spots
they
there.
played at Oklahoma, they put up a whopping 13 points. And this
That was
USC
his first.
offense can score with anybody.
Yeah, but we just talked about the Oklahoma defense. That Oklahoma defense is legit. 7 point. They put up double their average on the year that Oklahoma gives up. Meanwhile, USC has given up 34 points to Illinois, 31 points to Michigan State, 20 points to Georgia Southern. No, my friend. Running game, defense will travel. USC is a soft team under Lincoln Riley. They've always been a soft team, and I don't think the quarterback is going to be that elite that he's going to light up the Michigan defense there. Look, I think it'll be a close game, but give me the Michigan Wolverines +2.5 there. I think they'd get this one done on the money line there in LA. All right, favorite part of the show, because we are giving out our best bets for college football week 7 here. I'll let you lead it off. What is your lock for this week?
Yeah, Alabama to go into Mizzou and
I
come
like it.
out with a win. I think that Alabama is starting to turn the corner, and Mizzou hasn't played anybody, at least to the caliber of Alabama, and I think that Alabama runs it up on them.
I like it. Yep, I agree. I think two totally different calibers of team. Huge step up in competition for Mizzou. We're gonna find out if Mizzou's a real team this weekend. So
Yes, we
uh,
will.
I will be on also a small favorite. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes -3.5, -105 over on DraftKings there. Iowa has their quarterback back. Iowa has a really good defense. Wisconsin has neither. I appreciate Camp Randall for being one of the better stadiums and environments in all of college football. It's not going to
Mhm.
be enough. Iowa is going to run the ball. They're going to use Gronowski with his legs. And I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few turnovers from the Wisconsin side. And this is going to get ugly. Iowa's coming off a bye. They're pissed off. They have 2 losses, and they're going to get it done. Kirk Ferentz, much better head coach than Luke Fickell. Give me
Yep.
Iowa -3.5. What about your dog there? We hit some dogs last week, so where are you going this week?
That we did. That we did. And you mentioned it earlier. Some funky things happen in these rivalry games. And I'm going to take a small dog, but give me Oklahoma on the money line to win in Texas at the Red River Shootout.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think
Yeah.
I don't think Texas is.
Knowing that you reached out to Kalicki and he gave you all the juice, I'm feeling really good about Oklahoma.
I think that it's a situation where I'm not comfortable to lay points against with Texas against any FBS team,
Nope.
any Power Four team. They've lost to both they've played, and I think Oklahoma is a very good team. I think Arch is going to turn the ball over, and that offensive line is not very good. The
No.
Gators were in the backfield all the time. I mean, that Florida game should have been much worse than that score was at the end there. I like that play. All right.
I think Venables gets those guys going too.
Yeah, he needs it. I mean, he was on the hot seat this year. So if they can get
Right.
through this and be undefeated and Mateer comes back next week, watch out for the Oklahoma Sooners. Last week, last episode, I was here pounding the table in my Gators polo, telling you the Florida Gators and the Swamp are going to step up and they are going to win that game on the money line. Well, now I'm back with an even bigger dog, and I'm in my pit polo, and I'm pounding the table, telling you the Pittsburgh Panthers are going to go into Tallahassee and knock off this fraudulent top 25 FSU team. FSU team that is a team that needs to run the ball to operate their offense. Pitt is the number 1 rush defense per carry. And Thomas Castellanos on a team full of mercenaries. He's going to throw a couple interceptions. The team is going to quit, and we're going to see that 2-10 team that we saw last year. Give me the Pittsburgh Panthers on the money line at a
I hope.
juicy +310. All right, what's your tease and your parlay to wrap this up here?
Yeah, let's go with the tease first. Let me tease Florida State down to 4.5, Rutgers up to 16.5, and Oklahoma. I'll go ahead and tease them to 7.5.
Yeah, I would advise my clients I don't have to not play that purely because of Florida State play. I do like the other plays you have though, but yeah, can't trust you there. But where are you going for your parlay this week?
The parlay, I got a little bit of a pleaser.
Okay.
And basically I took my lock and my dog, teased them both up. Give me Alabama -11.5 and Oklahoma -6.5 for a juicy 10-1.
Woo! Okay. I like it. Two teams that are better teams that should win, and if they're going to win, why not win by a decent margin? So
That's
that's
right.
Bama -11 and Oklahoma -6.5, 10-1. All right, for my teas, give me those Pitt Panthers +16.5. Uh, we're gonna go the Oklahoma Texas Red River Shootout. That's gonna be more of a rock fight under 48.5. And then the Iowa Hawkeyes +2.5. That is +140. 6-point teas there. And then the parlay is pretty simple this week. Bama, Michigan, Iowa, all to win on the money line, +459. Just keeping it simple there. 3 teams that I think are much better and should get done. So as a recap, Professor Locke's there. He has Alabama as his lock, Oklahoma as his dog. And for his DGen parlay this week, Bama -11.5, Oklahoma -6.5 for a juicy 10-1. For myself, I've got the Iowa Hawkeyes as my lock, the Pitt Panthers as a juicy +310 moneyline dog, and then the parlay this week is Bama, Michigan, and Iowa all on the money line at a +459. All right, brother, that is it for college football week 7. What do you got for the people before we head on out of here?
Yeah, as always, if you like college football and you like the NFL, we do our NFL show tomorrow night. It was an absolute smoke show last week. We
We
absolutely
crushed it.
crushed it.
Crushed it.
So make sure you tune into that for another round of solid locks. Maybe a little DGen play thrown in there. Throw some props as well. But obviously, over on IDB Plus, you're still doing your injury report
Yep.
for all of the NFL.
Yeah.
Um, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, follow, throw into the comments what you're fading, what you're liking. If you're
Yeah.
fading us, screw you. I hope that all of your plays lose. But as always, share it out to a friend, a
There you go.
buddy,
There it
coworker,
is. Look,
family
it's
member.
almost
It's
Halloween
almost
time.
it's almost Halloween time. As you're passing out candy, maybe hey, you might want to check out this
Look at
podcast. These two ding dongs on YouTube talking college ball. You
Look,
know,
maybe not to the kids, but the parents,
I mean, hey,
21 and up,
you never know what they're going to be telling their friends at school. Word travels.
Yeah, subscribers are subscribers in Derek's eyes. But hey, look, we appreciate it. You guys have been crushing it as far as
And they actually know how to work YouTube. So
all right, we're not promoting this to children. All right, this is no YouTube. He's kidding. But you guys have been showing us a lot of love on the college shows. We've been having a lot of fun with it. We appreciate every single like, every single view, every single subscribe. And Derek's not lying. We hit a 16-1 and a 10-1 in the same segment on the NFL show last week. Bunch of winners. So if you like the college
right.
football, you probably like the NFL. That show we are going to be releasing tomorrow when we get a little more information. But hey, like Derek said, tell us what you are fading or what you're backing us. Tell us score predictions. Who's your top three teams? Who's the best teams? Who's the worst teams? Laugh at Penn State and Texas with us. We always enjoy that. But hey, folks, we appreciate it. As always, you know what they say. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And here at the DGen Docs, we've got your prescription. From Professor Locks and Doc here on the DFSG Plus channel. We are out of here.